Namo Doi Sawayantam, Namo Doi Sawayantam, Namo Doi Sawayiriyam, Namo Doi Sawajayam, Namo Doi Sawatiravathi Savanam, Omkar Mindu Sanyam Nityam Jayanti Yogina, Kamadam Mokshanam Sri Omkarai Namo Manganam Bhagavan Manganam Rupamurti, Manganam Kunkundari Ujendram Vosu Manganam Namasana Swanam Bhutya Jata Siti Swadhay Bhavaya Vivaho Nivasanidata.
Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Ariyantanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Ayaryanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Ojanam. Om Namo Loye Sarvatrikavarti Saunam. Om Karam Bindu Sanyuktam Nityam Dhyayanti Yoginam Kamadam Moksadam Chaiva Om Karaya Namo Namah. Namah Samaysaraya Swanubhutya Chakasate Chit Sabhavaya Bhavaya Sarva Bhavantarachide Ajnanatimirandanam Gnana Anjana Salakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Tirthankaro Jagatana Jayavantavarto Omkaranada Jinano Jayavantavarto Jinana Samo Sarana Sau Jayavantavarto Netirthachara Jagama Jayavantavarto Namo Tirthanayakane Namo Omkaranadane Omkara Sangarotene Namo Te Sri Kunda Kundane Aho Upakara Jinavarano Kundano Dvani Divyano Jina Kunda Dvani Apya Aho Te Guru Kanano Aho Te Bhagavati Matano Dhruva Achalane Anupama Gati Pamela Sarve Siddhane Pandi Kahon Sutta Kevali Bhasita Asamaya Prabhrata Are Hum Ekasuddha Sada Arupi Jnana Darshanamay Khare Kayanyate Marujari Paramanu Matra Natiyare Jamanetrate Majjana Natikarak Nati Vedak Are Jani Jakar Modaya Nirajara Bandate Majamokshane Om Namah Siddhebhyo Om Namah Siddhebhyo Om Sri Suddhatmane Namaha. Jai Jinendra. Today is May 24, 2017, Wednesday, and we are continuing our discussion on Samaysar, stanza 12. So, in 12th stanza, what does it say? It is mainly talking about the aspirant soul, Sadhak Jeev. Aspirant soul. Who is the aspirant soul? Last week we went through that in detail because we found it out about the spiritual developmental stage. First spiritual development state is a total impurity. Soul is totally with the impurities. Means remember that deluding karma they are fully operational. So this stanza doesn't talk about those people. Then on the other end, the 13 spiritual development state and 14 spiritual developmental state. And Siddha Bhagavan, those three states. 13 is a omniscient Lord with physical body, means Tirthankar Bhagavan, and average Kevali, average omniscient. Average omniscience means one who are on 13 spiritual state, but who do not have Tirthankar name karma fruition going on. So, what could be the difference between, let's say that we are 13 spiritual state right now, and we are not we are not Tirthankar, just like Mahavir. So Mahavir, along with the omniscient state, also has fruition of a Tirthankar name karma. And as a result, heavenly angels, they come and make the creation of the assembly of a preaching, that's a Samaysar. And Tirthankar Bhagwan gives the discourse, he's sitting on the Samaysar and things like that. But if I don't have that name karma fruition, then I could be a simple omniscient person. So 13 spiritual state is omniscient person with the physical body. 14 spiritual state lasts for very, very few seconds or less than few seconds, very transient, in which the omniscient Lord with the physical body discards the physical body. And then the soul becomes free and rises to the top of the universe called Siddha Bhagwan. So in this stanza, we are not talking about omniscient Lord with the physical body, omniscient Lord without the physical body, and the Siddha Bhagwan who is in a permanent everlasting happiness without any karma. We are not talking about those omniscience over here. 13, 14 spiritual state and Siddha Bhagwan, we are not talking about that. We are not talking about the first spiritual development state in which the deluding karma are totally in operational state. We are talking about the things in between fourth spiritual development state to end of 12th spiritual development state. We are talking about those kind of souls. They are called aspirant soul. Aspirant soul means one who has obtained samyak darshan, one who has obtained enlightenment, one who has obtained right faith state. Remember when we went through the last time with that picture of deluding karma, that when part of the karma they get disintegrated or destroyed or removed, then the purity is generated and proportionate impurity is still present. Purity keeps on going up and up and up gradually. Impurity keeps on coming down and down and down proportionately. And ultimately, impurity is totally gone and only pure state remains. And that pure state is called omniscient state. So, the soul having partial impurity and partial purity, that's a fourth spiritual development state. He is called right faith state. Fifth spiritual development state, somewhat more purity generated. So he is called the householder with observation of the 12 partial vows. Then the sixth and seventh spiritual development state comes, in which it is a state of the monk who is also having an intense purity occurring in the self. He still has a teeny tiny slightest impurity present. So we are talking about those souls. 8th, 9th, 10th, and either 11th or 12th spiritual development state, they're transient in nature. They last for antar muhurt. Antar muhurt means minimal 1 hourly, means a kind of fraction of a time, in maximum up to 48 minutes. So that time, there is very, very rapidly, soul goes from 8 to 9 to 10 to 11 or 10 to 12 spiritual development state. And so we don't discuss that for this purpose when we are at this state. So spiritual development state, one has to know how many. The first spiritual development state, which is a total impurity, mithyatva. Then fourth spiritual development state, which is a samyak darshan, means enlightenment. Fifth is a householder with the samyak darshan who is observing 12 householders' vows. Then sixth and seventh spiritual state, in which the monk is observing complete vows of a monk. And then we talk 13th spiritual development state, which is an omniscient Lord. And then we talk about Siddha Bhagwan, which is the pure soul without any physical body. So these are the things. Now, if you have pretty good idea about spiritual development state, then this stanza becomes much easier to understand, because we are talking aspirant soul from 4 to 12 spiritual development state. 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12, all those things last transiently. So 8 onwards, that's very transiently, and then they become omniscient Lord. Omniscient Lord we are not talking about. So mainly we are talking 4th spiritual development state, 5th spiritual development state, and 6th and 7th spiritual development. These are the state when the soul is there. We are talking about that state. They are called aspirant soul, because they have partial purity generated, means total impurity is getting now broken down. So partial purity, and impurity is decreasing, purity increases, impurity decreases, purity again increases, impurity always goes away. So those are that state we are talking. That is the aspirant state. So now we have pretty clear idea what is an aspirant state. Now we are knowing that. So now let's go to the slides and start analyzing what it tries to tell us. Okay, I need to bring the slides here. All right, not this one. One second, okay, bear with me, please. Okay. Can you see the slide there? You are seeing, I think, yes.
Uncle, I can see it.
You can see. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So now we are starting with the Gatharth, meaning of the stanza. We just saw those 2 lines. Let me just bring those 2 lines.
You know, Kirit Uncle, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So if we're doing all of this studies and all of this self-reflection, can all of us be on the 4th stage, at least some form of purity, or are we still on the 1st?
Remember, between the 1st and 4th, when a soul is on a 1st spiritual development state, means mithyatva, next state he goes is a jumping to the 4th spiritual development state. He bypasses 2nd and 3rd. 2nd and 3rd comes in the picture when he's falling down from the 4th. For whatever reason, from the 4th spiritual development state, now I go back to 1st spiritual development state, then 3rd and 2nd will come, which will last for transient time, and ultimately I'll end up going to the 1st spiritual development state. So 1st to 4th. 1st is a wrong faith, 4th is a right faith. Now,
I guess, let me try again to ask my question, is that all of us have been studying and doing things to try to improve ourselves. Couldn't we have some form of purity for the 4th stage? I'd like to believe all of us doing this Swadhay are sometime have been in 4th state. Maybe we're coming back to 3rd, 2nd, 1st. But I would like to think all of us in this group have been there.
Well, let me just tell you one thing. What is the 1st spiritual development state? What's the name? Wrong faith. Faith. Keep the word. Keep the word in your mind. Faith. Wrong faith is the first spiritual development state. Fourth, right faith means right faith. So first is a wrong faith. Fourth is a right faith. Remember, faith has only two possibilities. Faith attribute can have only two possible presentation in the modes. Either it's in the wrong faith, or it could be 100% right faith or 100% wrong faith. There can't be partly wrong faith and partly right faith. Faith is a faith either directed to the alien objects of the universe or directed to my eternal soul substance. So all or none. If I'm in a mithyatva, wrong belief, that's it, I'm there. Because I'm having the faith directed to the alien object. Means my body is me. That's my wrong faith. This house is mine. Computer is mine. Money is mine. Family is mine. When I take the ownership on the alien objects of the universe, wrong faith. And that means the first spiritual development state. Now that you are telling that we learned something, we know the hierarchy, we have some idea about these things. So what happens? This faith that I have wrong faith to the alien objects of the universe. For example, I love my car. This is daily routine thing that we pass through. I love my car. If the car gets into accident, then I feel very bad about it. I feel unhappy about it. I become miserable. Or I have a clunker car. Every day it breaks down. Now I end up getting a new car and I'm extremely happy because I have new car. I have new house. I have more money, or I have a great job. All those alien objects, when I make my ownership on them, I believe that they are mine. This is my job, my money, my family, my car, my house. Wherever there's a mineness comes, then it's called wrong faith. So now, knowing this one, we are going through this class for 2-3 years and everything. So we understand the hierarchical state that the alien objects are alien objects and I am the eternal pure soul. And there is a thin line separating those two states. In my mind, if I do that kind of attitude, so tomorrow stock market drops severely and I end up losing my shirt. Well, it was alien objects and it can come to me, it can go away from me. So if I keep equanimity state, then I have a less pain. But still I have pain because it was my stock market. My stocks went down. So those kind of feeling that we have it, that's a wrong faith. Knowing all these things for the reality and everything, learning Samaysar and basic Jain principles, everything, when I create the attitude that yes, I have association with the alien object, associations are there. This body and soul are together till I die. Okay, it's there. But if I keep undue attention to the body, let's say I'm approaching 70 years of age in the coming November, and tomorrow I have some medical problem occurs, so I have to say, so what? At this age, if I don't get medical problem, which age I'm going to get it? So if I accept that one, then my anxiety becomes less and I accept those things and I keep going. So now I have to remember about discriminative science, Bhed Vignan, from alien object to myself. I have to start doing that kind of practice every day. When that practice intensifies, remember that when we went through that 6th and 7th stanza, in that one we had the peacock picture, and peacock is getting illuminated in my knowledge mode. So peacock did not enter in my soul, only peacock's image entered. So once I understand those kind of nitty-gritty things, then my attachment towards quote-unquote peacock becomes less. Instead of peacock, now I put the rag in place of attachment. My rag, this is my pen, mindness, but it's there. I'm using it. And in a routine, regular language, I can say, yeah, this is my pen. But internally, I know that that's a matter and I'm the soul, so we both are separate. So now if this pen gets lost, I don't feel that bad. Or if pen remains with me for next time, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, I don't feel that too much attention. So these are the Veda Vignan, discriminative science we have to apply in our life. Once we apply and when we become very strong in our belief, at that time, we are going to jump from first spiritual development state to the fourth, because now my faith from alien object takes a U-turn and that faith comes towards my eternal soul substance. So that will be the time it is called Samyak Darshan. So do I have it right now? Do we have it right now? Well, if my faith is directed to alien objects right now, then no, I don't have fourth spiritual development state. But I'm progressing to that level. I'm working to achieve that state. And so gradually, think about it 2 years back, 3 years back, when we did not know all these nitty-gritty things. And we used to become angry for whatever reason. We used to become greedy. We become possessing all the things. And now that thing has become less. You don't become that intensely involved. Your anger attitude has become reduced. But still, it is a first spiritual development state. Only when I bring my faith here, then it becomes a fourth spiritual development state. So, do you have it? Do I have it? Individual has to answer in his own way. I am not entering in your heart to find it out what is your state. Vice versa, you are not entering in my soul's territory to find out what is my state internally. So everybody has their own spiritual makeup. Doesn't mean that I don't know all these things. That means I will never get Samyak Darshan. Knowledge is one thing. I can have an intense knowledge, but my faith is always directed to the alien objects. I will never get Samyak Darshan. Or I may be dull. I'm the dumb person. I don't know anything. I don't remember anything. But when Acharya Bhagwan says that this is your state, your state is to stay within. If I believe that one, if I understand that one, I have only that knowledge to be with me and to stay away from the alien objects of the universe. If I have that understanding, then I can get Samyak Darshan too. So, knowledge is not that integral part. It's a faith is most important part to get the Samyak Darshan. But to tell the faith where to go, that's why knowledge has to be brought to that level. So we are trying to bring that knowledge to that level, and then we are going to ask our faith attribute that, hey, take a turn, come within. There is a happiness, there is a joy, there is a bliss sitting there. There is no bliss or happiness in the alien objects of the universe. Once that state occurs, that's called Samyak Darshan, and that's a beginning of the purity. That's called aspirant soul. That's called enlightened soul. And that's a soul that we are talking in the 12th stanza. Does it make sense now? Priti?
Yes, thank you.
But we don't have to get discouraged, because remember, the faith attribute, the mode of the faith attribute will change fraction of a second, in one summit. from alien objects directed faith for Padarth Parni Shraddha, it comes to eternal soul substance faith more. Means my Shraddha Parya will come towards my eternal source. That will occur just like that in one Samay only. But to come to that point, that's what we are doing, this all kind of thing. As we have talked before, that there was a factory and it was making tons and tons and tons of product manufacturing, and suddenly the factory stopped. So millions of dollars of business got stopped right there and there. And so the boss says, go, get it done. Let's start this machine right away because we are losing money by the minute, by the hour. Everybody worked, but nothing is happening. So then one guy said, there's only one engineer who knows this thing in and out. So let's call him. They call him. This guy comes, inspects all the thing, and then he says, give me one hammer. He takes the hammer and certain place on the machine, he hits once and the machine starts. The boss is very happy, workers are happy, and so now finally the amount of money came, and he went to the boss's chamber, and boss says, how much? $1,000. Wait a second, to hit the hammer is $1,000? Guy says, no. To hit the hammer is only $1, but exactly where to hit, for that I went to 25 years of a medical, engineering school and all those things, and that $999 belongs there. Same way, my faith will come to me within one split second, within one samay, but to come to that level, to have that eligibility and all those things, it takes years of study and everything. And remember, my faith is directed to the alien object since time infinite in the past. And now I have to break that one. I have to break that shackle of a wrong faith from time infinite. It's going to take some time. We don't have to get discouraged. If we are on the right path, if we have the right knowledge, if we understand the hierarchy properly, and let's presume that life comes to an end before I get the Samyak Darshan, this knowledge will come with us in the future, and the next life, the process will continue. So whatever we do, it's going to continue, and ultimately it's going to help us to achieve the reality. Remember, Marichi is a grandson of Rishabdev Bhagwan. In Rishabdev Bhagwan, he is the first Tirthankar of this time cycle. With Rishabdev Bhagwan, lots and lots and lots of thousands and thousands and millions of people took the Diksha and everything, and they're sitting in the Samaysar and try to listen to these discourses given by Rishabdev Bhagwan. And there, lots and lots of people end up getting Keval Gnan, and also getting they also achieve the Adobhi of Siddhatva, means the liberated soul state. Now this Marichi being grandson, think about it. If my own relative, my own grandchild, will I have affinity for him in this life right now? For example, if I go to temple and there are 20 kids are there, my grandchild is also there, what will I do first? I will look at my grandchild. In the stage, all the kids are performing. Where will I have my attention fixed? To my grandchild, because I have affinity for him. Rishabdev Bhagwan, he is on 13 spiritual state. He has no affinity. So he didn't tell Marichi, hey, come down here and I'll teach you. No, he didn't tell him. This Marichi went on the wrong path. Being the grandson of Rishabdev Bhagwan, sitting in the assembly of preaching in Samaysar, he still went on the wrong path. He did not get Samyak Darshan at the time. But thereafter, he continued his improvement to understand who he is, how to understand, how to remove the shackle of this bondage, how to have the faith directed from the alien object to bring it to the self and everything. He learned those things. And after millions and millions of years, then he became a lion. He's in a jungle, killing the animals, eating the meat and everything. Two Muniraj walking into the sky, they descended, gave the discourses to him. And this lion was, he has eligibility, and at that time he obtained Samyak Darshan there. So one does not have to get discouraged. So that's very important. So here, what's the stanza says? Dekhe dekhe param je bhav tene suddha nay gnatavya che aparam bhave sthitane vyavaharano upadesh che. Second stanza is a very, where people have taken wrong meaning, and they said that look, in the Samaysar it says that conventional point of view, one has to give the discourses of conventional point of view. First line, Dekhe param je bhavatane suddha nahi gnatavya, means one who has looked into the eternal soul substance, one who started purity generated within him, then he needs to be given discourses of absolute point of view. But aparam bhave sthitane means one who is having the partial impurity present, he needs to be given vyavaharno upadesh, means he is to be given the discourses of the conventional point of view. That kind of wrong meaning people are taking from the stanza. But here, let's see, here Kunkun Acharya Dev says that is not true, and Amrit Chandra Acharya Dev gives the meaning of the stanza. So here is a stanza meaning. It says, જે શુદ્ધને સુધી પહોંચી શ્રદ્ધાવાન થયા અને પૂર્ણ જ્ઞાન ચારિત્રવાન થઈ ગયા, તેને તો શુદ્ધનો ઉપદેશ કરનાર શુદ્ધને જાણવા યોગ્ય છે. વળી જે જીવો અપરમ ભાવે અર્થાત શ્રદ્ધા જ્ઞાન ચારિત્રના પૂર્ણ ભાવને નથી પહોંચી શક્યા, સાધક અવસ્થામાં સ્થિત છે, તેઓને વ્યવહાર દ્વારા ઉપદેશ કરવા યોગ્ય છે. So these are the two lines that we sang. It just says in a prose. It says one who has obtained right faith, he needs to be taught, he needs to give the discourses of the absolute point of view. One who has still impartial impurity present within him, remember that aspirant soul from 4th to the 12th spiritual development state, mainly 4th, 5th and 6th and 7th spiritual development state, this kind of soul, he has a partial purity and partial impurity present. So over here, the meaning of the stanza, people take the meaning and say, with that partial impurity state, he needs to be given discourses of a conventional point of view. That's a wrong meaning people take that way. But Amrit Chandra Acharya Dev, he tries to explain to us, he dissects these sentences very well, and he tells us how is this actually the meaning of the stanza we can talk about. So here the meaning of the stanza starts. One who has completely achieved the pure nature of the eternal soul has now complete passionless state. This is a 13th spiritual development state. As we talk, 13 spiritual, 13, 14 and the Siddha Bhagavan. He is in primary abstract comprehension state, means he is in nirvikalp dasha. He is engrossed in his eternal soul, and he is enjoying his eternal state, and he is just enjoying that one. Enjoying means it's a super sensuous bliss coming for ever and ever and ever. It will be there forever. So he's in that state. He has also omniscience knowledge. He is a Keval Gnan. He has omniscience knowledge. He knows everything. He knows who were his parents, who were his kids and everything, for example. All those things he knows, but he knows only. But he has complete passionless state, means he doesn't have any emotions left. He is a beyond emotion state. 12th spiritual development state is called pure, the state without any trace of toxic emotion. without any trace of a deluding karma. So because he has no emotional state present, he simply has a knowledge of the whole universe. Kevali Bhagavan does not go out and say, okay, let me see what's happening here, let me see what's happening here, let me see what's happening there, let me see what's happening in hell. No, he doesn't do that. He is engrossed in his own pure eternal state and enjoying the blissful state, and in his knowledge mode, whole universe gets illuminated. That's it. So in his mode, he has illumination of the whole universe with the past, present, and future modes of every substance. That's it. He knows. He doesn't make any extra effort for that. This is the pen. This is the blue-green color pen. It writes this way. Now it is closed. Now I can do it, and I can open the thing. All those things, I have to make the effort to know it. Omniscient Lord doesn't need any effort. Things get illuminated in his knowledge mode, and he knows. So that's Keval Jnana. That's omniscience knowledge. Now he has achieved completeness of the pure point of view. This person has a completely achieved pure point of view. If you remember pure point of view from the previous stanza, 11th stanza, what did we say pure point of view was? Pure point of view is a mode, but this mode knows the eternal soul substance. This mode's job is to know the eternal soul substance. This mode's job is not to get involved with the alien objects of the universe. It is give up that completely. All the inclines of attachment and aversion, rag and dvesh are taken out, and now he has total engrossment. So pure point of view's job was to achieve that state. Now that is achieved. That is achieved. So it's a complete state. So now there is no need for pure point of view. Remember, pure point of view is a partial point of view. It's null. It's a Suddha nahi. Suddha nahi, Ashuddha nahi, Vyavahar nahi, Nishchay nahi. All those things we have gone in extreme detail before. So now we know the partial point of view occurs only in the scriptural knowledge. The 5 types of knowledge totally could be there. Perception knowledge, scriptural knowledge, clairvoyance knowledge, telepathy knowledge, and omniscience knowledge. Now, the perception knowledge and scriptural knowledge, they are partial knowledge. They are not complete knowledge. Clairvoyance knowledge, telepathy knowledge, they are also partial pure knowledge, but they know only the matter substances. Omniscience knowledge is the one which knows everything. There is no divisions involved, nothing. It knows the self, it knows the alien object, it knows everything. So there is no need for any partial point of view, because scriptural knowledge is the one in which partial point of view are occurring. Absolute point of view, conventional point of view, pure point of view, all those things are occurring in the scriptural knowledge, which is a partial knowledge. When the complete knowledge gets generated, all this knowledge there is no need for it. They disappear, because this is complete, super complete, total knowledge. So for him, in this state, the pure point of view is for knowing purpose only. Now, omniscient Lord has a purity, total purity in the mode, and in that mode, he knows that he had in the past partial pure point of view present with him. That's it. He simply knows about it. He doesn't act on it. He doesn't say, oh, that was a great thing, I had it. Or no, I should not. He doesn't give any emotion. There is no emotion. It's a complete passionless state. There is no amount of any toxic emotions present there. So For him, pure point of view becomes event of the past. It was only for knowing purpose. He doesn't get hang on to that. While I'm in the aspirant state, yes, pure point of view, I need to have pure point of view. I need to bring my attention to the eternal soul substance. I need to take my attention away from the alien object. That's a function of the pure point of view, and I need that one. But once the soul has achieved the complete omniscient state, there is everything is illuminated in the knowledge mode, and there is no need for partial point of view or pure point of view. So pure point of view remains as knowing purpose only. That's it. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. Now there's nothing left to achieve for pure point of view. What was the job for pure point of view? Pure point of view was given job that you are supposed to have your faith directed to the eternal soul substance and get engrossed within. That was the job, the pure point of view's job. To bring the attention from the faith attribute towards the faith attribute had a mode to the alien object. Shraddha gunni paryay par padarth taraf hati. I bring that mode of the faith to the eternal soul substance. Now, Shraddha gunni paryay swa taraf dhali che. Now, I get engrossed in that state. I get engrossed in that state. And once I completely get engrossed, I'm in front of the swimming pool. I want to go in. Outside is hot. And I'm putting my foot in the water. Oh, it's too cold water. Oh, I just come out. I put again my foot. Oh, there's still too cold water. I can't take it no more. Then my grandkids, for example, they are in the pool and they say, "Grandpa, come on, come on, come on." They start splashing water at me, and I keep running and I come back, and those are the things that we have seen that one. So I get little bit wet and I get acclimatized to the water and everything, and now I get dive into the pool. I'm totally wet. I'm totally into the pool. I'm engrossed into the pool water. Now, I don't have to run away. My aim was to go into the pool. Gradually, I try to do. Kids started splashing water. I became more accustomed and everything. Ultimately, I dived completely. Same way, pure point of view was bringing me to the eternal soul substance, was bringing me to the pool water. And it was making me wait a little bit here and there. Ultimately, when I dive into it, ultimately when I totally get engrossed in my eternal soul substance, then pure point of view's job is done. Pure point of view's job was to make me totally wet. Pure point of view's job was to make me getting totally engrossed into the eternal soul substance. And so it has achieved that state, so it is remaining as knowing purpose. It doesn't do anything else right now. This soul right now is an eternal blissful state. So this soul we are not talking about in this stanza. In this omniscient Lord, the one with the pure passionless state, 13 spiritual development state, this guy is not to be discussed over here. So he's out of the picture. Now comes the aspirant soul, the one who was totally dry, did not go in the pool at all, no matter what. He's kind of a wrong faith person. When I'm putting my foot and coming out, putting foot a little bit more, coming out, putting more, coming out, getting splashed with water, and ultimately dive in. So this gradual acclimatization of the cold water of the pool, that is called aspirant soul. He has a partial purity, partial impurity within him. Just like the pool guy, The person who is not going in the pool at all, he is not wet at all. Person who is into the pool and completely engrossed in the pool water, he is totally wet. The guy in between, he gets partial dryness, partial wetness, and that state is called aspirant soul. He has a partial purity and partial impurity present within him. For spiritual development state, total wrong faith. 13 spiritual development state, 14 and Siddha Bhagwan, total purity state. In between, from 4 to 12 spiritual development state, that range is called aspirant soul, that he has a partial purity generated, at the same time proportionately partial impurity, partial impurities getting present there too. So aspirant soul, the pure point of view is for honoring purpose. Now this aspirant soul, what happens to him? He has to hang on to that power of a pure point of view. And with that pure point of view, he keeps on putting his attention and getting more and more engrossed into his eternal state. So the pure point of view needs to be honored. Aspirant soul hangs on to the pure point of view. That becomes a vehicle for him to dive into the eternal soul state. So for that purpose, for that point, with that aspirant soul, pure point of view is for honoring purpose. Remember, the word play is very important here, that we have to understand. Over here, what did you say? There is nothing left previous slide, nothing left for the pure point of view to achieve. So for him, pure point of view was for knowing purpose only. The omniscient Lord, he has a pure mode, omniscience mode, and everything gets illuminated, and so he knows that there was a pure point of view present. So its pure point of view for omniscient Lord is for knowing purpose. But here, pure point of view for aspirant soul is for honoring purpose, because he is taking support of the pure point of view. Pure point of view is operational at this point. Pure point of view is operational, and as a result, he keeps on increasing his purity, decreasing his impurity. So those two things are happening with the help of pure point of view. So for aspirant soul on the 4th spiritual development state, 5th spiritual development state, 6th and 7th spiritual development state, he needs help of pure point of view. So that is for honoring purpose. Adrelo Prayojan Vanche. This word will come a lot in this stanza. Adrelo Prayojan Vanche. Adrelo means honoring. Prayojanvan means purpose. So pure point of view for aspirant soul, he takes the support of the pure point of view to go within and to hang on and remain engrossed within. Mahavir Swami Bhagwan, when he was a Muni Mahavir, when he took the initiation to monkhood at the age of 30, then for next 12 and a half years, he did meditation. Now, it's not the meditation me and you perform first thing in the morning, close our eyes and I'm the pure soul, I'm the pure soul, I'm the pure soul, I'm the Gyayak. No, not that one. Muni Mahavir, he is a monk, he's in 6th and 7th spiritual state, and so he goes inside, he dives inside the eternal soul substance. He hangs around as long as he wants, he can. But then his efforts are still not that strong enough, so he comes out of the eternal soul substance. So he comes out and becomes in the deluded state. Not deluded state, but he has a rag and dvesh state present. For example, he is going inside, but while he is inside, while he is getting engrossed within, For example, his hunger pain is really bothering him. So he comes out because hunger pain and his weakness is there, that he gets attached to that hunger pain. So he says, this stomach is bothering me. So let me go out and take some alms and finish my hunger pain, and then go back to my eternal soul substance. Try to get engrossed within. Or other time, when he's coming out of the eternal soul substance engrossment, then he comes out and says, okay, here are my pupils are sitting there, monks are sitting there, they have questions and I need to answer them. So I can answer because of my experience of within, my bliss from within. So he starts talking about that one. Kunkun Acharya Dev came out from the engrossment, and then he wrote Samaysar. He wrote Samaysar. We are extremely fortunate that Kunkun Acharya Dev wrote down Samaysar when he's out of the eternal soul substance experiencing state. So, monk Mahavir, from age 30 to age 42, he goes in, comes out, he goes again in, stays a little longer, comes out, again goes in with the increased personal effort, comes out, again keeps on going in and out, and he increases his personal effort to remain stable in the eternal soul substance, to remain engrossed as long as possible. For him, for this monk Mahavir, he remains engrossed ultimately for non-stop for 48 minutes. Non-stop. Suddenly, he goes to 13 spiritual development state, and that he achieves Keval Gnana. So, monk Mahavir, to become omniscient Mahavir, only the distance was 48 minutes to remain engrossed in the eternal soul substance, and that gives an omniscient state. For that 48 minutes of engrossment non-stop within the nature of the pure eternal soul substance, Mahavir has to make his personal effort for 12.5 years. That's why at 42.5 years, ultimately he achieves Keval Gnana. So, if monk Mahavir took 12.5 years, will it take little time for us? Not to get discouraged. Yeah, it can happen to me. But I don't need to get discouraged. I am on the right path. I'm going to continue that path. And if this life comes to an end, so what? The personal effort will continue in the next life and the life beyond thereafter, So one should not get discouraged. No, why nothing is happening to me? Lots of things are happening to you within. You are unable to achieve, you are unable to perceive that one. But reflect upon yourself. 6 months back, 1 year back, 5 years back, where were you? And where are you right now, considering your psyche? How was your personal, interpersonal relationship? What was your attitude before? What's your attitude right now? There is an improvement has occurred. Just like that engineer, he took 25 years of college, high school and college study. And then he puts the hammer on one point and the machine starts. Same way, on that one nice fortunate moment will occur in which faith attribute mode from alien object will get transferred to eternal soul substance, and that's called Samyak Darshan. It will happen. Why not? If it doesn't happen to me and you, who is going to get it? But we have to be realistic. Where we are, what it is, how it is, everything. One time, I think it was Barilji was telling this little story that he met some other Pravachan in London airport on the way to America. And they started talking. This is Barilji was telling. They started talking. So they were just talking about the spiritual development state, and Bharati said, I'm on 4th spiritual development state. What state are you on? And the guy said, I'm on 12th spiritual development state. This guy is a pravachankar. This guy is giving lecture. He has no concept what spiritual development state is. At least you know today what is a spiritual development state, where we are. As Preeti raised the issue, are we on 4th spiritual development state or not? No, we are not, but our process is continuous. Our process continues, and at one fine moment in this life or next life or life beyond, it will occur. It will occur. So not to worry about it. Okay, so aspirant soul, pure point of view is for honoring purpose. The honoring purpose word is a key word coming and coming and coming again and again in this discussion. So let's get familiarized with that. Honoring means I need to honor that state. So aspirant soul, pure point of view is honoring purpose. He now achieves whatever is to be achieved. He is achieving what is to be achieved. Means right fate state. See, he has achieved. Now, one second, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Aspirant soul, pure point of view is for honoring purpose. Now, with the help of a pure point of view, he got engrossed in his self, and he remained engrossed in his eternal soul substance for 48 minutes, and now he has achieved omniscience. He has achieved omniscience. So he has achieved whatever is to be achieved. Pure point of view was supposed to help him achieve the omniscient state, which he has achieved. So now, at omniscient state, pure point of view is importance not there. Why? Remember, pure point of view occurs in the scriptural knowledge phase, perception phase, perception knowledge, scriptural knowledge, clairvoyance knowledge, telepathy knowledge, and omniscience knowledge. When omniscience knowledge occurs, all this knowledge is they disappear because they are partial knowledges. This is complete. Omniscience knowledge is complete. When I have achieved complete, then partial point of a pure point of view's importance is not there. I want to achieve $1 million. So now I have achieved 10, now become 100, now 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, 200,000, 300, all those things. But now that I have achieved $1 million, so all those take from $10 to $100 to 1,000 and 100,000 and 2,000, they are just not there now. Their importance is not there because I achieved my aim. So omniscient state, pure point of view is not there. Because in Keval Gnan, there is no partial point of view. Keval Gnan is a complete knowledge. Omniscient knowledge is complete knowledge. There is no partial point of view. There is no scriptural knowledge, no nothing. It's just simple. Keval means simple, total, complete knowledge. So pure point of view is not there. There is no scriptural knowledge, or that's a sacred knowledge is left in the omniscient state. Omniscient state is a super perfect, completely clean. So this partial knowledge is, there is no need for it. Dusk is there, dawn is there, sun is not there, and at that time there is a partially light is there. And because of the partial light, I can see around. I want to go for jogging. I can see if there are no dogs or if there is no car or nothing that I can get hit to. So those are those dusk and dawn are there, which is a still partial day is there. But once the sun comes out, then dusk and dawn has no value. Because now full-blown sun is there, complete light is there. I don't need to worry about it. So the scriptural knowledge is like dusk and dawn state, but when pure point of view is achieved and omniscient state is achieved, then completely full-blown sun is shining right now. So the pure point of view is not there for honoring purpose. I was honoring the pure point of view, but now the omniscience knowledge came. Now there is absence of scriptural knowledge. When there is absence of scriptural knowledge, means there is absence of partial point of view. That means there is absence of pure point of view. So now pure point of view used to be there within me. That kind of knowledge, the omniscient Lord has it. He doesn't hang on to that idea. He has no rag, he has no dvesh, he has no passion, no toxic emotion. It's a pure state. So pure point of view is not there for honoring purpose. There is no need for pure point of view for taking refuge in eternal soul substance, because I am totally got engrossed. When monk Mahavir was there in our example, he is going in and then getting pulled back, going in again and getting pulled back, going in again with the full force, increasing force, with the increasing personal effort. His Purusharth is getting increased each time. But still, that's not, Purusharth is not that complete that he gets pulled back because of the karma fruition and everything. Karma are there to pull back to the out of the engrossment state. So, Suddha nai astray karva layak nathi rayo means now the pure point of view is not required, because I'm already engrossed within. I'm already into the pool. I'm already completely wet right now. Now I don't have to run away. I don't have to have partial dryness and partial wetness. I'm totally wet right now. I'm totally engrossed in my eternal soul substance. I'm enjoying my bliss, which is going to remain forever. So that's why partial point of view, or pure point of view, is only to be honoring. There is no need for, or there is no honoring purpose for this pure point of view. Having said that, let's see what it says next. Aspirant soul. Aspirant soul, now we are coming back to aspirant soul again. Remember aspirant soul from the 4th spiritual state to the end of 12th spiritual state. But in general, when we discuss about 4th, 5th, and 6th and 7th spiritual development state, because the rest of the state, 8, 9, 10, 12, they are extremely transient in nature, and they just go out so quick, so fast. So aspirant soul is having enlightenment. He is experiencing of the soul. He is an enlightened man, but has not achieved omniscient state yet. He is on 4th or 5th or 6th, 7th stage. He has not gone to 13th spiritual development state yet. So aspirant soul is working right now. For him, for this aspirant soul, partial purity and partial impurity state is present in the mode. Remember, at the 4th spiritual development, partial purity is generated. Impurity, which was total impurity, got partial impurity. Partial purity got increased. Impurity got decreased. Purity increased. Impurity decreased. Purity is achieved completely. Impurity is gone completely. So, for him, there is a partial purity. Means partial experiencing occurred. And partial impurity means he still has a rag and dvesh present. Remember that slide in which we had 4 types of toxic emotions, and they go one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. So the eternal bondage, infinite karma bondage, toxic emotions are gone. And that's why soul goes to the 4th spiritual development state. But he has a partial vow preventing, complete vow preventing, and total purity preventing passion still present. So that means partial purity is there, partial impurity is there, and that's why he's called aspirant soul. There is still presence of milder form of an inclination of attachment state, and this partial presence of inclination of attachment state, means this partial presence of rag state is known as conventional point of view. What's a conventional point of view? There is a partial presence of rag, partial presence of inclination of attachment state present. That's known as conventional point of view. So this aspirant soul is a partial purity, and he has a partial impurity. In the partial impurity state, he has a milder form of toxic emotions present. Now, it is called conventional point of view. Remember, when we are on 7, 8, 11 stanza, last stanza that we finished a few weeks back, that 11, when we said conventional point of view can only be told conventional point of view when it's associated with the absolute point of view. Conventional point of view can be accused to have presence only when the soul has absolute point of view present also. Do I have experiencing of the soul at this state? Am I on first spiritual development state or fourth spiritual development state? If the answer is that I'm at a first spiritual development state, that means I don't have experiencing of the soul. That means I don't have absolute point of view. That means I even don't have conventional point of view present within me. The person who has achieved absolute point of view means a samyak darshan. He is on a fourth spiritual developmental state. Now he has a partial impurity present, and they are called conventional point of view. If the soul is on a first spiritual development state, that means he has a total, complete impurity present. There is no trace of purity at all. When there is no purity, means no absolute point of view, that means on the first spiritual development state, he is not called even conventional point of view. All his activities, he goes to temple, he prays, he is worshipping, he is reading Swadhay, he is meditating, and all those things he does, those are the practice he is creating. The one, what we are doing right now, we are practicing that what happens when I achieve absolute point of view, then how will I be able to engross myself? I'm doing all the practice right now. I don't have conventional point of view if I'm in the first spiritual development state. Conventional point of view is only present, or any partial point of view is only present from fourth spiritual development state to 12th spiritual development state, and that is aspirant soul. And again, instead of saying 4 to 12, mainly 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th spiritual state. Then he has absolute point of view, so he has conventional point of view also present. He knows the presence of incompleteness of purity and presence of partial impurity state that he is passing through. On the spiritual level, he knows that, yeah, he has a partial purity and partial impurity present, so he knows both the states. He knows very well. The absolute point of view, he knows. Conventional point of view, he knows very well. Aspirant soul acknowledges this conventional point of view. Aspirant soul's main aim, fourth spiritual development stage to 5, 6, and 7 stage, his main aim is to get engrossed within, That's the main aim he has it. But he also knows there's a partial impurity still present within me. So let's presume that somebody has a samyak darshan at this point. He has a samyak darshan, for example, a given person. And I see him, for example, eating in the restaurant, for example. It's not going to happen, but just crude example. A Samyakdarshi Jeev, and now I see him eating in the restaurant. What is this nonsense? Does he have Samyak Darshan? Can he do all these things? Well, because he has partial impurity present and he may do those kind of things. For example, let's say the same person who is having Samyak Darshan and he shows his anger right now. He is extremely angry for something. He has those partial impurities still present, and sometimes he gets involved with that impurity and he becomes angry, but at that time he knows that that is not his nature to become angry. Even if he's eating in the restaurant, he knows that that is weakness, that his partial impurity drives him to do that, but it is not his pure state. So he is aware of this thing. So as aspirant soul, he acknowledges this conventional point of view state. Samyakdarshi Jeev, enlightenment soul, the right faith soul, he's on the fourth spiritual development state. He's doing business right now. He's married. He has children. It can occur. But for example, Kripaludev had a Samyak Darshan and he was doing business. We're talking about Kripaludev, one story comes in my mind that one time Devkaran Muni, I think, I'm not sure, but this is Devkaran Muni, I think, that Kripaludev asked question to Devkaran Muni that Muni, you give the lecture, you give discourses, you conduct the Swadhay session, and there are hundreds of people are coming to listen to you. Do you also have women coming? And the Muni said, yeah. Sometimes do you end up looking at them? Muni says, yes, sometimes I do. Then Kripaludev says, then your Muni state is not there at all, because you get involved with the by your vision, you get involved with the woman that way. So Devkaranji also was very learned person. And he says, okay, Srimadji, what about you? You profess to have Samyak Darshan, but you are also doing the business of the pearls and everything. So Kripaludev says, yes, I do the business, but I know that I have no interest of any kind at all doing that business. I'm doing it because of my fruition of karma makes me do those things, but I'm not interested in that thing at all. So that's what happened, that this aspirant soul, even though he is in a conventional state, he is aware of that state. He acknowledges his presence of conventional point of view, and he doesn't get involved with that. So those things are present there. Okay. So let me bring this thing back again. Therefore, so that the aspirant soul knows this conventional point of view. This state is for knowing purpose for this aspirant soul. Aspirant soul says, I have no part of it. Kripaludev says, I have no part of the business, but fruition of karma pulls me in that direction, and I join that one. I join in the fruition of karma. That's my weakness. That's my personal effort are not strong enough to remain engrossed within, and so those things happen. But I have no part of it. I don't like it. So this state, the aspirant soul knows this state, knows this conventional state, but and therefore it says, janelo te kale prayojanvanshe. Means at that moment he is knowing, he knows this state. He's aware of this state. He's not having his increase of attachment get engrossed in that state. He doesn't say, this is really mine. He doesn't have that kind of thinking also in his mind. Oh, look at my house, so big. It's a based on the. He doesn't have that kind of attitude. Look at my fantastic. He can have a car, but he doesn't brag about it. One time, many years back, we had gone to northern Arizona with lots of friends and everything. And one of the friend, he has bought a brand new car of some Chrysler or something. And I mean, he described that car so much, so much, so much. I thought maybe my car, which is far better than his car, means nothing. He was so engrossed in describing his car and everything. No, Krupala Dev is doing business. He doesn't have interest in that one. But because of fruition of previous karma, he has witnessed that he gets joined there. With his own attitude, he joins in those situations. So at that time, he just knows this state, knowing purpose. This convention state is for knowing purpose. Jane lo prayojanvan che. Jane lo means knowing, prayojan means purpose. So knowing purpose only. This state when I have an eternal soul substance experiencing means I have samyak darshan. That means if I do any kind of activity, business related activity, house related activity, whatever, family related activity, those are the things it does occur, but the soul does not get intense attachment in those activities. For example, let's say that I'm working in a bank and I'm supposed to count the money. And from morning till evening, I keep on counting money, counting money. Maybe I may have counted $1 million today. Did I make mistake in counting? No, I did perfect counting. At the end of the day, or end of the week, end of the month, or my whole career of several years of the working in the bank, I never, ever made mistake in counting those money. But while I'm counting that money, how much attachment I have towards that money? Is it my money? Not necessarily. It's not my money. My money is end of the 2 weeks. Whatever the money in form of check comes in my head, that is my money. But all the money I count in the bank every day, they are not my money. I do the work perfectly, completely, but no attachment to that. Same way, this aspirant soul completely does, he does all the work like family-related work, business-related work, and all those things he does, but he has no interest in that activities. So that's why that activities are knowing purpose only. He doesn't have any affinity for that. So those are the things will be coming again and again in these stanzas. That janelo prayojanvanche, adrelo prayojanvanche, those kind of words will come. We are getting accustomed to those things. Remember, we are just talking about meaning of the stanza only. And then Amrit Chandra Acharya Dev will give commentary on that thing. It will come later on. And then Bhavarth will come. Some detailed explanation will come. So we will stop over here. If there's any question, we can take. Any questions so far? If not, then we can do closing. Okay. Yeah. जावाणी के ज्ञान से सूझे लोकालोक सुवाणी मस्तक नमो सदा देत हूँ 9 times नमो का मंत्र. Namo Buddhaya. Jai Jinendra. Nityam Duklam.